The Spurs look like they might have a top defense next season. We're going to discuss that. And what's up with Blake Wesley?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. I am glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great work week and getting ready for that weekend. It's right around the corner. Hey, what are we talking about today? We're going to play a little game of buy and sell. The Spurs could potentially have one of the better defenses in the league next season. We're going to ask our guest if he buys that or he sells that, and if he does buy or sell, well, why? Why not? Also, Blake Wesley, a lot of focus has been given on Wemby, obviously, some to City Sissoko, cool. Malachi Branham's getting some love, but we haven't really talked about Blake Wesley and what he's doing out in the summer league in Sacramento and Las Vegas. We're going to get into that. A little birdie told me our guest might have a little hot take about that, so stand by for that. And as always, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every single day. You guys are the everydayers. On tomorrow's show, we'll probably talk about more of the summer league and get you ready for Wemby. Yes, the day ends in Y, so we'll likely talk about Wemby. But before we get into all that, just want to give you a little time to talk with you about Popovich. And this is another reminder to appreciate what the Spurs have patrolling the sidelines, and that's Coach Pop. Have you really thought about his offseason? So he is about to coach another possible generational player. He did that a little bit with Robinson. He obviously did that with Timmy, and now he has Wemby. Hopefully Wemby does turn into that all-time player, just like the predecessor Biggs in San Antonio. But so score one for Pop there. What a way for him to, if he does decide to hang it up after this contract, to coach one of the possibly the best of the best. So we also talked about his contract. Yeah, he got himself a contract. Be here another 5 more years. Obviously got paid. And he is now currently the highest paid coach in the league, and rightfully so. His resume all but secures that. And did we also talk about how he's about to get inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame? Oh, and by the way, who's presenting him? Just David Robinson, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan. Yeah, he's going to get presented by those guys, the players that made him on the court the coach that he is on paper. Obviously, he had a big hand in it. So what I'm trying to get at is, yeah, if this is Pop's last big contract before he sets sail, then what a way for him to go out, and a reminder for you to appreciate what that guy has brought to the franchise. He is the last cog, the last piece of the Spurs dynasty still on the roster. That's it. It's just him. Patty Mills is gone. Obviously, the big three retired. Robinson's retired. Avery Johnson's, where is he now? He's CBS Sports. So he is it. That's it. After he goes, then you can really put the nail in the coffin of the Spurs dynasty era really being closed. We forget about him, right? We say the dynasty era is over, the big three is over. They've gone set sail, but he's still there. He's still going to bring that championship big three feel vibes to the current young Spurs roster, and they need that. If he's not there, they're just a rudderless ship. Now, who cares? The Spurs are going to do their due diligence and find somebody who can hopefully fill those big shoes that he'll leave empty. But until then, what better way to set these guys off on their own once he does decide to hang up his clipboard, and then giving them those last minute instructions, those hard knocks, those, painful chats that he probably has with them in practice. And of course the praise. And above all of that, we're forgetting just how much of a humanitarian he is. He hates to talk about it, but you hear the stories, tips that he leaves in San Antonio, food servers, the stuff that he has done in the community, from helping out in Uvalde, Texas, after the mass shooting there, to being involved in local community politics when it came to gun control and blending his voice to that, no matter what side you land on that side of the fence there. Can also forget too, just the amount of money he's donated just to the city that probably we don't even know about, because he just likes to keep it nice and quiet. So Popovich, this one's for you. This little opening monologue is just for you. I'd rather give you your flowers now before it's too late and you set sail. So we here at Locked On Spurs. We thank you, Pop, and hopefully you guide this team, get them close enough to that championship spirit once again, if you do decide to call it a day. But enough of that. We're going to dive into the present, the here, the now, and possibly the short-term future. And that I'm talking, hey, talk about Popovich. What does he love? Defense. So let's get to it. Popovich loves defense. Wemby alone obviously ups that defense next season. But is it enough for this team to have one of the best in the league? To discuss that and more, I am joined by my good friend and friend of the show. He is Brandon Medina. Where is Medina? Let's bring him on. There he is.
Come on, baby. What's going on?
Well, you're doing great. You're going to help us here, chat a little bit about that Spurs defense. By the way, everybody, make sure to follow him on Twitter at Big Poppy Brandon M. You see it on your screen right now. By the way, great jersey. See you around the colors.
Hey, now listen, I have a rule that you and I have talked about for many, many years, right? When it comes to jerseys, you remember my rule with jerseys, with Spurs jerseys, right? What did I tell you, Jeff? I said, I don't buy jerseys of current players unless I think they're legends, right? Ever. Hey, this number one ain't Lonnie Walker. Let me tell you right now. This number one ain't Lonnie Walker. So when it comes to defense, no. Listen, it's not. Was T-Mac number one of the Spurs? What was his number of the Spurs?
T-Mac was number one.
Yeah. So it's not T-Mac. It's not your boy Rod Strickland. It's definitely not Lonnie Walker. It's our boy Victor Wembanyama. I am as excited as everybody else in the city. I think jumping right into it, like you said, with defense. Do I think there'll be an elite defense? How can they not be? I mean, it's just it's a simple question of already this team was a team that we already have talked about was better than their record proved, right? I mean, it's the perfect tank job when people can't really tell that you're tanking all the time. And so with that, I think Malachi Branham's taken a huge step with his defense. And then you look at Sohan, who's an incredible defender. Zach Collins looked way better last year towards the end of the year. And now you have Victor Wembanyama, who on a bad night, on his worst night that we've seen so far to the 5 blocks. I'm just saying, I think he obviously adds a lot of depth to the defensive prowess when it comes to defense, but I think this team 110% is going to be one of the best teams in the league at defense. Whether you count that as blocks, whether you count that as points, that's up to be debated, but I do know I think they're going to be really, really solid when it comes to just a defensive team overall, man. This is going to be a scary team to play with.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And here's the thing, too. We just saw a glimpse of it in Las Vegas when Wemby was playing in those 2 games. Sure, a small sample size, but we can see that defense is going to be a problem for opposing teams next season. Just his length alone, disrupting shots, even if he's not connecting his hand on the block. Just the presence alone. You're seeing we saw players have to adjust their shot going at him, shoot a higher arc, try to maneuver around him. If they bring the ball low, he's there to swipe down. If he brings it up too high, he gets the blocks. That was the thing too that I thought it got overshadowed in that game 1 he had. A lot of people were kind of downplaying his performance. I don't know about you. I think I was in the minority that I thought it was okay. His game.
I was fine with it.
I was fine with it. I don't know why everybody was making a big deal about it, but those blocks he had, the rebounds he had. So Wemby alone. Ups that Spurs defense, but we're not. You glossed over it too. We're not even talking about just collectively the length on this team. Just
crazy.
Collectively, from Sohan to Vassell. Hopefully, Keldon gets his act straight defensively, but his length as too. We haven't talked about. You mentioned him, but Zach Collins. He looked like he's back in the swing of things. Where they take some of those Bruise brother vibes and just being a beast in the middle. So I agree with you. I am buying that the Spurs will be one of the better defenses next season, but will they be a top 5, top 10? We're going to ask Brandon that question when we get back right here on Locked On Spurs. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Big Poppy Brandon M. Let him know what you think about his Wemby jersey. Let him know. And we'll get back talking about more about your Spurs defense. And I think a birdie told me that Brandon wants to cook Blake Wesley?
I'm in the kitchen. He's in the kitchen.
So we're going to hear what Brandon has to say when we get back right here on Locked On Spurs.
Hello there.
This episode of Locked On Spurs is brought to you by BetterHelp. Look, navigating through life's ups and downs can be challenging. So if you're thinking about giving therapy a try, look no further than BetterHelp. Look, BetterHelp has it all. Everything you need to, again, navigate through the ups and downs of life. It's entirely online, designed to be very convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. So all you got to do, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can even switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Look, whether you're trying to make big life decisions, you want to just get through that to enjoy life better, and you can move forward with confidence and excitement, that's where BetterHelp comes in. Look, I needed therapy sometimes. BetterHelp is there. I've used it. You should give it a try as well. So again, if you're thinking of starting to give therapy a try, I recommend BetterHelp. Give it a try right now. So let therapy be your guide. Let it be your map with BetterHelp. Again, you want to go to betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA right now. Why? You get 10% off your first month. Once again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.
Hello there.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with our good friend and guest for today. He is Big Poppy Brandon Medina. He will be a part of the Michael Jimenez Acquire Taste Network on YouTube. Later on this show, he's going to talk about that. It's right around the corner, just a couple weeks. They're going to be debuting his show. He's going to tell you why you should be tuning in, what he's going to be talking about, and hopefully he'll invite me to talk. Hopefully, I'm praying to the podcasting gods that I'll get that invite from Big Poppy.
It is the open door policy of all open door policies, man. Of course.
All right, Brandon. Buy or sell, this team will be a top 5 or top 10 defense overnight next season.
Top 10, I'm 100% buying. I'm buying, no problem. It's Amazon Prime Day, I'm buying. Top 10 defense, no problem. Yes, now top 5, different story. It's a different story. Do I think we could be there? Absolutely, 100%. I think, does it take time? For sure. I think we got to see, like you said, is Keldon going to have any defensive help? I think Devin Vassell is also an underrated defender. But we're talking about a team that could roll out if you look at the Twitter polls and what people like to do with fantasy booking. We could have a team where our point guard is Jeremy Sohan, and you have Devin Vassell and Keldon and Zach Collins and Victor Wembanyama. It's just the size alone is just going to be ridiculous. And so I do think this team is top 5 worthy. Top 10, I'm buying all day. Top 5, I'm a betting man. I'd place that bet. But definitely there's work to be done as far as meshing up together and seeing where Keldon kind of falls in that, and Devin Vassell.
Is you think, am I being crazy just saying Wemby alone gets the Spurs into the top 10, just him alone?
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
No, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because
not whatsoever.
That is going to transition over immediately.
100%. I mean, you've seen it happen with teams who don't even have that much talent. I mean, you think of back, just top of mind, you think of like the Orlando Magic with Dwight Howard. Remember how he was blocking shots left and right, and they had Marcin Gortat in there, just random players in there.
Wow,
but I'm saying you had players in there that just, Jameer Nelson and guys who just were not even at the level of a Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and stuff like that, and didn't have the length and, leading the league in blocks and leading this, and you have the Rudy Goberts and the Utah Jazzes of the worlds and the Timberwolves and all that. But I think this squad absolutely has top 5 defensive stopping ability. Top 10 is almost a given when you draft somebody who is 7'3" with the wingspan of a door frame. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And we're not even talking about Bassie. Before he got hurt, we
hustler.
Saw how he's a hustler, that he's that bouncy big that Spurs were clamoring for a couple seasons ago. He looked very active on the boards. We're not even talking about the little flash that we're seeing out of the other rookie, Sidi Sissoko. Have you looked at his rebounding ability in Sacramento and Las Vegas? I believe it was Sacramento or Las Vegas. One of the, believe it's Sacramento. 4.5 rebounds per game. No, that's Las Vegas. And in Sacramento, he was averaging 3.5 per game in 2 games. He might be a sneaky big guard that can gobble up those rebounds as well. And we saw what he did to Brandon Miller in game 1 out in Sacramento. I'm sure it was Miller's first game. Maybe there's some jitters, but nevertheless, there's something defensively there with CD. What are you seeing out of him?
There's something special about him, dude. There really is. I mean, you see the passing ability. It's just ridiculous. I think his hands are a lot better than we're giving him credit for, too, on the defensive side. He's really good at stopping things and slowing things down and stopping, fast breaks and getting in front of guys. And I think the guy has a really high level IQ for basketball as far as making the pass needs to be made. It might not show up on the stat sheet. He's not a stat sheet stuffer by any means. He's not going to shoot the lights out by any means either. But I think right now it is a working project, a working process. But I do think it's a needed and very much exciting project for the Spurs, especially with somebody of that size who can pass and rebound and is not afraid to get dirty, man. He'll fall, he'll go battle for rebounds, he'll do all that. That's what you need for a guy who realistically is going to be, maybe your 10 to 12 spot on the roster. So I think that's a great choice and a very highlight for this team to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, well, you got to highlight, obviously, Sohan and his ability to get under opposing players' skin. We saw that a few times last season. Got in a scrap with one of the Morris brothers. Zach Collins got involved.
I love that.
You saw that tenacity on the defensive end to really aggravate the opposing team as well. I love that from Sohan. But we're not even talking about, we haven't got to this, Trey Jones.
Oh.
Trey Jones. For as much as fans don't think he may be, quote-unquote, it for the starting point guard, I'm okay with it because he gives you a little bit of defense and offense, and he has that knack to be a good, I'm not saying a great, but a very good perimeter defender. What do you think about Jones?
Oh, man, for the money that we have him on, 2 years, $20 million, compared to the ridiculous payouts that people are getting, we have a absolutely lethal option at either a solid starting point guard or a great backup point guard in the league. If you roll with that big five I was talking about, but I think overall, huge IQ when it comes to passing, has become a better defender for sure in the perimeter, and also takes smart shots, man. He doesn't really force shots. He's not the best three-point shooter. We talked about this before. That can also change. We've seen people take that next level and take that next step. But also when you surround him with shooters like Devin Vassell, Malachi Branham, right? Guys like this who can, Champagny, who we're seeing just going ridiculous in the summer league. I mean, it's going to be a huge added plus to him. And so I think Trey Jones is in for a big season, and I think if you're not a believer, you need to jump on that Trey Jones bus because he definitely is part of the plan for Brian Wright and the Spurs moving forward.
I never left that Trey Jones.
Yeah, me either. Man,
I just never bought into he's not starting quality, and I see what they're saying, need a big guard. It's the NBA, but I thought he did pretty good, and I also like the fact that he knows his role. And he knows that, look, a lot of touches on offense are not going to be called for his number next season. We get that. With the amount of firepower the Spurs are going to have offensively between Wemby and Devin and possibly Sohan, you don't need another person that demands the ball. And he doesn't demand that. He has a great assist-to-turnover ratio. He's a point guard by definition, pass first, set guys up, get the offense running, and then he gets you something on defense. I like it. I am not going to be surprised, though, if they are top five at all. No, I'm not saying they'll be number one, but I think they'll be maybe like a 5 if they'll hit the 5. Because, and here's the thing, then you got Popovich, who's going to cram the defense motto in their brains throughout training camp and preseason and throughout the regular season. And if the Spurs team is going to get W's, what better way? Defense wins, baby. Defense wins, Brandon.
They do. I will say, though, Jeff, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I hate to play devil's advocate here, but I do think fans should also understand this team is young. Expect turnovers, right? We've seen it happen with Victor in the summer league, right? He's getting pickpocketed left and right when he's trying to get in the post.
That was a problem with him even in France. That
100%
in his draft analysis that he tended to turn the ball over a little bit more often than not. Yeah,
absolutely. And so with that, you're going to see a little bit more of that. You're going to see, there's some silly passes that sometimes Keldon will make. There's some silly things that some of the players will do. But I do think when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, this team is very much locked in every player, it looks like, except for maybe one, is taking a step forward in this summer league and in the process. And so I really think it's going to be huge. And I think CD Sissoko, like I said, you're not going to see it in the stat sheet, the blocks and steals and how much he's attributing to the team. But I do think his hands and his movement and his IQ is only going to add to how good this team can be defensively.
Absolutely, yeah. So things are looking up defensively for the Spurs next season. Offensively, I think it's still kind of an open question simply because the perimeter shots were not really going in next season unless that was intentional, to up their lottery. Who knows? But we'll discuss the offensive end at a later episode of Locked On Spurs. But you're here to hear. Brandon and I think the Spurs will have a top defense, just a question of top 10, top 5. Hopefully they'll crack that top 5 because I think that's how they're going to win games with the amount of defenders this team is going to have next season. Hey, when we get back, we're not done with Brandon. We're going to discuss something he wants to get off his chest. He texted me, days ago when I invited him to Locked On Spurs. He's one of the first questions. He was like, "Can we talk about Wesley?" It's like, "Oh, sure, we can do that. We'll do that." So we're going to give Brandon his time to get some things off his chest about the young Spurs guard and more, and look at how he's been doing out in the summer league with Brandon Medina of soon to be with the Acquired Taste Network on YouTube. Hey everybody, I want to talk to you about Bird Dogs. Look, you want to look good, you want to feel good, you want to be cool in these hot days, you need to get yourself Bird Dogs right now. So what Bird Dogs does is basically they design some stretch khaki shorts, and they're designed to fit a little slimmer, make you look good through the thigh, through the leg, and it's a perfect way to get through these hot summer days with some Bird Dog khakis. Now, Bird Dog shorts, they do exactly the same thing as Lululemon, but just fit way better. They fix that issue with inventing kind of like a cloud knit fabric. It looks like khaki, but stretches. It gives you a slimmer fit without having to sacrifice any movement. They also use an anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. Look, I have a pair of those khaki shorts. I got a pair of the sweatpants. They fit great. I use them constantly. And guess what? They keep me cool and dry. I use them at the gym. Keeps me cool and dry there. No nastiness with me when I go to the gym wearing my Bird Dog shorts khakis. Hey, you want to go to birddoggs.com/LockedOnNBA right now. Enter promo code LockedOnNBA. Get yourself a free Yeti style tumbler. I have one. Get yourself one right now. That's birddoggs.com/LockedOnNBA or promo code LockedOnNBA for that free Yeti style tumbler. You don't want to take your Bird Dogs off, I promise you. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with our guest, Brandon Medina, soon to be with the Acquired Taste Network on YouTube. He'll talk to you about that and more later on this episode of Locked On Spurs. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. Tomorrow's show, shocker, more Wemby. I know. Can't escape it, Brandon. Can't escape it. He's going to be the talk of the town.
Not looking to escape it. Not looking to escape it. We're loving it.
Yeah, you're rocking his jersey, so there you go. I mean, you're representing today. So we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Brandon, Blake Wesley. So in the break right now, during the break, you're laughing at me because I was kind of stunned about his PPG right now out in the Summer League. I believe he's played about 3 games, averaging 13.7. I was stunned. It's a very quiet 13.7.
It is quiet.
Very quiet. And look, if someone were to tell me, hey, Blake Wesley's going to average 13.7 points per game on the Summer League level, take about 13 shots per game, give you, let's see, about 1 steal a game, 5.3 rebounds per game, nearly 4 assists per game at 3.7, I'll be fine. We're doing good. But you have some concerns.
Yes. Yeah. This is not the I hate Blake Wesley show. This for sure is not. But this is I don't know that this guy is the guy that we thought. I don't know that this is who we thought we would see in year 2. So just to recap, Jeff, you had one guest on this podcast network who called every single draft prospect that we drafted last year.
Pop your collar.
There's only one. You know what I mean? There's only one, and that's me right here. So let me tell you, I love Blake Wesley from the jump. I've called it since day one, literally, and I was excited. He had a lot of potential. Now on that podcast, you can go back and check the records, baby. Check the tape.
I know.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. Check the tape. I said he is a work in progress, has a load of potential, needs to clean up a lot of things. Here we are in year 2. I'm not seeing anything cleaned up. I'm not.
Right, so what is your issue? Like, what specifically?
Turnovers and shot decision making. The IQ just does not seem to be translating to these other year 2 guys. Jabari Smith's going for almost 40 points. Jabari Smith was getting cooked by a 16-year-old on Twitter. I'm telling you right now, Blake Wesley is averaging 13 points. Sure, that's nice. Champagnie going off for ridiculous numbers. Yeah. Dominic Barlow is going off for almost double-doubles all the time. He looks incredible, right? You have these players. Malachi Branham's putting up 30 almost. I mean, Blake Wesley's not taking the steps that I would have liked to seen. The turnovers are bad. The free throw shooting is now where it needs to be for a guard of his level. He has incredible power, incredible flashiness, but man, it looks like a guy that can hoop. It doesn't look like an NBA player. That's just me being absolutely very, very straight up. It looks like the guy that if you show the highlights, his boys are telling him, damn, dude, you were rocking today. And then you watch the league and he's getting cooked almost every play on defense. You watch the plays, he's taking bad shots, he's rushing shots. Part of the reason we didn't even make that comeback with Wembanyama in that last game was also Blake Wesley's IQ and making moves of that nature. And so I think
you're calling him out.
I'm just saying, I want to see him be better. I'm not, listen, if he was to at me on Twitter, I'm 100% be like, hey, dude, I'll give you your flowers. You're a great player. Are you what I expected? Absolutely not. I think your absolute height, and that can come back to bite me in the butt, and that's fine. I think his absolute height is Lonnie Walker on the San Antonio Spurs. That's his absolute maximum. I'm telling you now, he's going to be in Austin again, while Champagnie, who was not drafted, is going to be getting minutes over him. And it's going to be, it's just, I'm not seeing anything that tells me this guy is going to be a Spur in the next 4 years.
I think, I agree with you. He will be in Austin. That's for sure. I think he's spent a good chunk of his second season up in the G League. But for me, it's just pace. I think pacing needs to be worked on. It's okay, Wesley, to slow down the game. It's okay.
Yeah.
He goes at one speed. He's all full throttle, which is fine. But I think that'll come in time. I'm not ready to, cast him aside as close as maybe you might be. I think he needs a little bit more cooking. He is still, 19, 20 years old. He's still a kid. He was, I believe, openly admitting it to me on draft night when I spoke with him. The moment he put that draft cap on, said that he realizes that his shot selection, his shots need to be worked on. And I think obviously that's still a work in progress.
Right.
Look at what he's doing right now out in the summer league. Through 3 games, 36% shooting from the field. Not good. And averaging 27% from the 3 line. He's taking about 4 threes a game. He's only making 1. So
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just you compare it to the other guys.
Problem though.
No, 100%.
They all have that problem. They're shooting.
100%. My thing is Malachi went 1 for 17 in game 2, right? We saw that. That was rough. That was rough to watch.
Rough. Yep.
Comes back, puts up 29, plays hard, takes good shots. Mm-hmm. Blake Wesley, 13 points almost every game. Very quiet. You almost forget about it unless it's a big dunk. And not only that, he's going. I don't know what his free throw percentage is, but it's not that great either. He's going maybe 50% from there. Right. It's the 3-point shooting is not there. But I think I'm not saying I want this guy out of town. No, I'm just saying where it's at right now at the level of play. I feel the exact same way, if not less than what I felt for Lonnie Walker at this same time. And all I'm saying is I just truly believe I'm not a minority. Like there has to be, put it out to the masses. Everybody listens to the show who's a Spurs fan. Call me wrong, call me an idiot. That's fine. I'm cool with it. Listen, I'm sure
your
Jeff.
Twitter handle's right there.
That's right. So it's right there. Read it and weep. Blake Wesley is not doing nothing right now. So let me just tell you, don't get so excited. Everybody's taking a step forward except for him. He's still, a year ago, he was telling Jeff he needs to work on a shot selection. What are we doing a year later, brother? It's just, it's still a work in progress. But if you're fighting in the G League, you're battling in Austin, you're playing against upcoming NBA players. He's a hooper. You can watch him. He can play. He's not an NBA ready dude yet.
Sure. I am, like I mentioned right now, I am not close to the edge. Well, I know you're not at the edge, but you're closer to it than I am.
I want to push it. Where's his potential, Jeff? I want to push it with you then. Where do you think this guy?
I think right now he does need cooking. He does need a little bit more seasoning. Okay. And even then, I think he'll be a victim of just numbers and minutes. Because ahead of him is obviously Trey Jones. Sohan's running the point. We saw that last season. Who knows if the Spurs?
Malachi's going to be moving in
that direction to getting more minutes. So I think he might just be simply a victim of that. But I'll tell you this much though, I think what's going to happen next season is that he's going to look like a man among boys in the G League next season, where the Spurs are going to bring him in, and we're going to go into that situation, that territory again, where you're good enough, you're too good for the G League, but you can't crack the rotation. So you're going to be going back and forth. And when you do get your time to shine, on the NBA level, you'll see flashes of it, but not enough time for him to get going, like get the rhythm.
Damn,
going.
that sure sounds familiar, Jeff. That sure sounds familiar.
But I wanna give him at least till after the All-Star break, if not year 3. Year 3, I'm gonna want to see something from him. So no. I still have belief that he can be a solid player, and I do like his speed. Look, as much as that might be a detraction, I do like.
It's a huge addition.
I do like that he's very aggressive-minded, going to the rim, picking up fouls. I would just like, if he's gonna stick at one speed, then at least get some fouls. Throw your body into somebody.
Well, he's getting fouls. He's not making free throws. I mean, that's the thing. If you're getting there, you got to make them too. And so with that, you're right. I'm not at all saying we need to trade the dude.
I know you're not, but you're just. I think you expected more.
I mean, because here's what I'm hearing, Jeff.
Well, here's the thing. Well, hang on.
Go.
Look.
Hold on.
Now that Wemby's gone from the summer league, and the Spurs theoretically have maximum 2 more games, they could possibly have more depending on how those,
Right.
And I think they're going to make the tournament. But so let's see how he looks in these last 2 games out of the summer league, 1 or 2, whatever they got left.
He could make me look silly and score 30 next game.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to say pump the brakes, Medina.
Okay.
I would say maybe focus your radar. Like focus it a little bit more forgiving. Like let's see where we're going with. I understand your point, Medina. I get it. I understand. But
I feel like I'm a lot more forgiving than the people in Jeff Garcia's mentions. That's for sure.
This is still technically a rebuild. We're not out of it yet.
Oh, no, yeah. But, I mean, you look at the second-year players. You look at these second-year players, the steps they're taking. Malachi's taking huge steps, right? Dominic Barlow, from a 2-way contract, looks really solid, for real, right? And then you look at Champagnie. I mean, everybody that's a Spurs fan watching is like, give this guy more minutes.
Yeah.
Nope. You're going to be hard-pressed to search Blake Wesley on Twitter right now and someone asking for more minutes.
There's that, too. Then there's the emergence of Champagnie. Guess what? More minutes for him.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds familiar, Jeff. That's all. It sounds familiar. But I am saying, you just said he's going to look really good, a man amongst boys in the G League. Is he not playing amongst 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds right now in the Summer League? Is he not playing against 2, 3-year, 4-year players in the Summer League who will be on a G League team? 13 points is nice. It's not going to get you a spot on this roster where we're going to be watching you at AT&T.
He was not the last pick, right? It was Malachi, right?
It was Malachi. I believe. I'm almost positive it was Malachi.
Right. Yeah. We shall see. The jury's out still for Blake Wesley.
Get in my mentions. Battle them out.
Right there.
Battle them out.
He is Brandon Medina, soon to be with the Acquired Taste Network on YouTube, headed by our good friend here at Locked On Spurs, Michael Jimenez.
Yes, sir.
What is right around the corner? Let everybody know what you got cooking.
Oh, man, August 6th, man, the fantasy gods are back in business. One of the best shows in the city. I'm very proud to say we had a lot of great followers. If you're a football fan, if you're a betting fan, we're also going to try to incorporate some betting and fantasy basketball possibly and fantasy other sports. And so we'll see what happens. But definitely, if you're a fantasy sports fan in general, it is the time to be excited. We're going to be bringing that back, and it's going to be a joyous time for the city, joyous time for sports fans, and it's going to be very much a wild time because we're not censored. So who knows what's going to be going on YouTube and wilding out. So I'm safe on Locked On. Invite me back, Kens. Relax. But
you got to keep it Disney here.
This is Disney. We're gonna go a little bit more HBO Max over there. You know.
Oh no, Cinemax at dark era.
Listen. The champs are back, baby. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to tell you. The champs are back. We look forward to it. August 6th, hit your boy up. More Spurs talk on the way, and a lot more fantasy football talk and betting on the way as well.
Absolutely. Again, that's the Acquired Taste Network on YouTube. It's live right now with just one show headed by Jimenez, but soon to be adding Medina in just a few short weeks. Hey, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. You guys are the everydayers. We're going to be talking more about your silver and black tomorrow, more Wemby likely, and more digging deeper into what we're seeing out of these young kids out in Las Vegas and what do we make of their play. And you can subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcast, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube, iHeart, iTunes. I mean, the list goes on and on. So you just like go any, mini, miny, mo, and it lands on Spotify. We're there. Any, mini, miny, mo, it lands on YouTube.
I heard Locked On's at Traders Village and at every Purga here in San Antonio over here. So
not a bad idea. I didn't think about that.
Get in the flea markets, baby. Come on.
I would go to, hey, look, I'm from the South Side, so I'll go to Traders Village.
Yo, asada tacos and Locked On Spurs, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You eat your taco and then you open up the foil and there's like a little advertisement, Locked On Spurs right in the foil. He is Brandon Medina. Follow him on Twitter at Big Poppy Brandon and follow me on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. But for Brandon Medina, I am Jeff Garcia. We're gonna put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.